Fighting over range against won't be the game, but long live the chief. For a little old thing, little boys bang bang. Long live the chief. Chicken fighting over range against won't be the game, but long live the chief. Yeah, watch pretty mama while I slay my cane. Long live the chief.
It's the lifestyle show that gives you life. This, that, and the third on UBM Radio. And now, here are your hosts, Calvin King III and Reese PC.
Hey y'all, it's your girl, Miss Reese, of course, and you're now tuned in to another episode of This, That, and the Third on Urban Broadcast Media, each and every Friday night at 8 o'clock. So unfortunately, your girl is starting the show off by herself, but that is okay. We got a special guest in the studio tonight. Now, I'm new to him, okay? So I know Chicagoland area probably knows more about him than I do. But I was introduced to him when he was on the show called Image Makers, hosted by Domati Pongo. And I just learned so much about this gentleman. But just to give y'all a little background, you know, he was signed to Kanye West's Good Music label, featured in Spaceship from the West album, The College Dropout, Drive Slow from Late Registration, both which are Grammy Award winning albums. And so he's Chicago's own. Y'all give it up for none other than GLC, Leonard Harris.
Yes, it's me. What's up, y'all?
How you doing?
I'm doing blacktastic, sister. How you?
Good. I love like all the words you use.
Yeah, I'm honored. If I could do something that you love, that means I'm doing the right thing. Good. I'm on the right track.
Well, you know, I wanted you to come because I was just amazed and kind of interested in all the stuff that you had done and the things that you were talking about with Doma T on Image Makers. So I just want to jump right into it. You know, we know about your history with Kanye West, but I want to know, are you working on any new projects? Like, what do you have going on now?
Oh, yeah. Like, the stuff I did with Kanye, that was a long time ago. Since working with Kanye, I've worked with Kendrick Lamar. Just got another gold plaque like 2 months ago for the Section 80 album. Okay. I was on this song called Po Man's Dream. I'm the first artist that Bruce Springsteen had ever cleared a sample for in the hip-hop community. I brought this group called Manfred Mann out of retirement. I brought Sir Mix-a-Lot out of retirement. I got like 7 records with the legendary Bun B, Crucial Conflict, John Legend, Twista, Chance the Rapper, Vic Mensa. Man, so many artists.
Right. So the most recent project is the one with Kendrick Lamar.
Well, the most recent project is I just did the intro for this phenomenal producer. His name is Mano, $1 Million Mano.
Okay, yep, I heard of him.
And he produced a lot of 3 joints for The Weeknd, and one of them went like 7 times platinum. So he got an album coming out, and I'm featured on the intro for that album. Okay. I got an album coming out.
Really? Where?
Oh, it's coming out like next month. It's called The Book of Saint-Ism. And I got Wiz Khalifa on it, Raekwon from the Wu-Tang Clan, BJ the Chicago Kid, a lot of production from one of Chicago's own, XL, $1 Million Mano, he's on there. Okay. Man, we got some magic in the works, babe.
Right, so you busy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You busy. Well, I wish you would have, sent me something, we could have played it. You hear the music in the background.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get to it.
Okay.
I ain't going nowhere.
So,
whenever you call, I'm gonna be there.
I appreciate that. So I do remember you also talking to Doma T a while back, and we didn't really get into it, but your web series. Yeah. You wrote it, produced it, filmed it. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I got a web series called Honored Society. We are filming the 2nd season of it now, and I recently partnered with Damon Dash, and we're working on finding a proper outlet to distribute it. Okay. So we should be done shooting season 2 within a month, and then be ready to drop everything around the time I release my new album, because it features a lot of Chicago artists and notables from the community in the series, but it also features music that is available on my new project. So it's like a marketing tool.
Right. Well, of course, you should put your music in your web series, get your stuff out there.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the series about? Can you just
Yeah, well, the series is pretty much about growing and developing as a man, like coming from like the background that, you know, in Chicago, not only in Chicago, but all over the world. Most great fortunes, behind every great fortune lies a great crime at some point. Like you look at the Kennedy family and you say they are multi-millionaires. Every time a kid in the Kennedy family turns 18, they get $1 million in their account. But nobody talks about how the dude that was the man of the family was Kennedy's father, and he was a bootlegger. He sold illegal liquor, and he made millions doing it. And he also ran the stock market here in Chicago. And he was also friends with Sam Giancana, who was the head of the Chicago outfit after Al Capone. And what he did was he went to Giancana and he said, "Hey man, I need my son to be president. Can you help me?" He said, "Yeah, I can help you. What's up? If I do that, y'all gonna have to lay off the mob." You know what I'm saying? Like, act like we don't exist.
Right.
The father agreed to that. But Robert Kennedy, who was the brother of John F., he wasn't having it.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, the mob got to go down and this and that." And they both ended up dead.
Wow. See what I'm saying? Like, you started off with one thing and you just gave me a quick history lesson.
Well, yeah, because see, my show, it basically tells the story of how from the streets and the background of coming up in a street organization, or what some would call a gang, you can learn valuable lessons that you can apply to the real world.
Right,
and if you apply these lessons properly, man, you can truly grow and develop and be on a road to prosperity and going legit. And that's basically what the show entails.
And that makes so much sense. And I think the more young people see that, they can apply their everyday struggle or whatever they're doing and put it towards something positive or whatever they may want to do.
Absolutely, because see, in hip-hop, although I am of the culture, I notice a lot of times guys become millionaires. Like you look at the great Tupac Shakur. He was on and popping. He was a superstar. But see, for us, we don't want to be like, we start off in gangs. We join gangs when we're kids,
right?
Because this is like a social group, and we become a part of it. It's based upon the environment you live in. It's based upon not having a parent or father in the household, and you're looking for something to belong to, something to show you what manhood is. So you embrace that. Now, with that being said, you learn a lot of positive things, but due to the fact that the guys that might be the head of the organization in your local community, they might use it for their benefit as opposed to the benefit of the organization. So you might get sent off along the way.
Right.
Now, with that being said, your goal is always to grow and develop from that point. You're not being in a gang to be in a gang forever. You in the street so that you can buy businesses.
Have some goals with that,
get
right?
Out, make it out, and raise your family and help build up the hood.
Right.
Not be a millionaire and then join a gang. Like, to me, that's backwards. That's extremely backwards because it's like, man, you at the point where all the gang members wish that they could get to, and you've made it there, but now you want to move backwards and come back to this gang thing.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous. I think that once a brother makes it to a point where he has truly grown and developed, it is his duty to uplift all the brothers and sisters of the community in some shape, form, or fashion.
I agree.
Yeah, because as kids, we learn through social learning theory. We learn through like actions and the things that we see.
Seeing others do.
Yeah, so if you want change in the community, then you have to be the change that you wish to see. That's how I feel.
Oh, that was so... When you just said that, that's like hard to accept because it's hard. We always say we want change, we want this, we want that. But do we really want to do the work that it takes to get that?
Gotta do the work, man. That's a good question, a good statement that you just laid down for the people, because everybody wants to make it to the promised land, but they don't want to go through the swamp or the wilderness in order to get there.
They struggle to get there,
Yeah, because you got to do the work. People say that you can speak things into existence, but that's only half the story. You still must do the work that comes behind the words.
Right, because some folks would just be speaking, well, Lord, bless me with this.
Nah.
I spoke it, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get it. Yeah. No. Did you do anything?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with you. And I don't think that's the way the game go. I know because I'm a living testament. I grew up on 87th and May.
Right, Inglewood.
Well, this is Arb and Gresham.
Yeah.
I was born in Inglewood.
Okay.
And Arb and Gresham is the neighboring community to Inglewood.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in Inglewood, and eventually, my family lived down the street in Arb and Gresham. So with that being said, I grew up in an area that was called Georgetown, and it was named Georgetown after one of the guys that had been murdered due to genocide, or what the media would call gang violence, And we were in the middle of several different gangs. None of them was what we was, though. It was Stones and it was Vice Lords. We was GDs, and we were surrounded by these guys. And with that being said, we wasted a lot of our childhood because we was looking at them as opposition because their hats was turned to a different side than us. So it was a lot of gang wars and things of that nature. But now as an adult, I see some of those guys, and they some of the coolest guys on the planet. They doing good in life. I'm doing good in life. Just imagine if we would have embraced that as kids.
You would have had a lifelong friend by now.
Man, we would have did some phenomenal things.
Yeah, you could have built together. You know what I'm saying? Everything. So
absolutely.
That is so true. And I think that happens as a female. You deal with a lot of that stuff just in general going through life.
Tell me what you deal with as a female. Let me hear this, because I know it's tough, but I want to hear.
Okay, so you put me on the spot, y'all. Well, growing up in elementary school, just a lot of, they call it bullying now. Back then, it was just, girls was just jealous for whatever reason.
Oh, because you fine. Oh, they was jealous of her because she fine. They was being a little tough on her. Okay.
A little tough. They were mean.
They were mean.
Girls were mean. I'm so glad I don't have a daughter because I just don't understand it. But my mom told me one thing. She said, those same girls gonna grow up to be women, and they don't change.
Wow.
She said, and they usually are a reflection of their mothers.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times, I went to St. Gelasius. They tore it down. It was right across the street from Mount Carmel.
That sounds like a player school. St. Gelasius. Gelasius sounds like a player name.
It was on 63rd and Blackstone.
Okay.
And a lot of the girls that I went to school with, my aunts and parents knew their moms. They grew up in the gardens.
Okay.
So it was like, yeah, we knew their parents. It just made sense. And as I got older, I would see that. Like, my mom was right. It don't change.
Wow.
So,
Well, I think that's a case of, as I said, social learning theory. If you, I tell guys this, relationship wise, they'll meet a young lady, and they probably both 30 years old, or in they middle 20s or whatever. And they'll be like, yo, I'm gonna mold her into what she should be and this and that. But brother, you setting yourself up for destruction because you going up against 2.5 to 3 decades of her being misled. And she don't know she being misled. Her mama don't know that she misleading her because she was misled by her mama.
Yep.
Yeah, so we have to find a way, just due to the fact that right now, with cell phones and the internet, we got the world in the palm of our hands. Back then, there was an excuse. You could say, I don't know. And that was perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
But that's rarely acceptable now because anything you want to know about,
it's right there.
It's right there.
All you got to do is twiddle your thumbs.
Yeah.
And you can find it literally.
Absolutely.
Literally. So that's dope.
No, you dope.
Yeah.
She dope.
I got a compliment from GLC, y'all.
She dope. It ain't me, it's her. She dope. Yeah.
I also, tell everybody about how you came about designing the Inglewood sign.
Oh man, I had done some work with this Inglewood organization called Teamwork Inglewood.
Okay.
I had did some video editing work as well as some graphic work for them. And I was working with this young lady by the name of Rashana Baldwin. She has her own marketing firm called the Baldwin Group.
Okay.
She also works with neighborhood housing services. So they had a meeting, like a town hall meeting, and they came up with the idea that, we need to do a sign for the community.
Yeah.
Because when you go to Beverly, or you go to Hyde Park, or you go to really nice neighborhoods, you see welcome to here.
Yep.
I was in Hyde Park yesterday, and on 53rd and Harper, right at the corner, it's sign saying downtown Hyde Park.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, this made me feel like, man, I'm in heaven. I'm in downtown Hyde Park. Look at me, So we was like, man, look at the joy that brings and the hope that it brings people and the sense of accountability, belonging, ownership. We was like, we need one of those in Inglewood. So I was reached out to by her and Neighborhood Housing Services, and they was like, we having this contest for Inglewood sign. We really need to get this done. You should enter it.